people will tune in to see we're drunk or to see we're act silly or whatever it is, but ultimately people are tuning in week after week, series after series, because they've invested in our relationships. You know what I mean? I'll go out on a night out, or I do a club PA, and people will come over and they'll say, "What's happening with Gary and Charlotte?" or "Are you okay after Ricky?" and "What have you?" They feel like they know we're after watching with sort of 8, 9, 10 series. And I think that's the nice part of it. Yeah, we are and we are daft and we are controversial, but ultimately it's the make-ups and the break-ups and the falling out and things like that that really have people's attention held.
The Ricky stuff was the bit where it became very real, and I actually worried for your mental health.
I think at times it had to be toned down for TV, had to be Geordie shored up. It was made to look like it was quite a lot of dramatic, like sort of drunken arguments, when in reality it was bullying, essentially. It was a really, really abusive and unhealthy relationship, and Geordie Shor tried its hardest to show bits of it without it being too dark, but to tell the story correctly, and I think they did pretty well, considering.
Where's the line between making a show for entertainment and ruin your own life in the process? Because it's a very thin line, isn't it?
It is. It's a very thin line, and with something like Geordie Shore, which is often sort of hailed as the most real of all reality TV shows, it's very hard to distinguish. For me, I gave that show absolutely everything, far more than I probably should have, and I couldn't differentiate between where, like, Vicky Pattison, normal human being, and Vicky Pattison from Geordie Shore started and began, and I just lost myself a little bit, and it was really hard for me for a while to do Geordie Shore, because I couldn't. It engulfed us. It completely engrossed me. So that was when I eventually made the decision to leave. I think I'd given it all I could.
And I think it was the right move. If we look at where you're at now, and we're going to talk about that in a moment with the new book, All That Glitters, which is out now. Do you think there was a point as well where you believed your own bullshit? Because that show is so big with our generation. I'm more or less the same age as you. And it's so massive. I mean, and the lifestyle that you get from it is so hedonistic. Did you also get sort of too involved in the hedonism of it and the ego of it?
For a while, yeah, I did. I did get wrapped up in Geordie Shore and wrapped up in celebrity and started to believe a little bit of my own hype. Luckily, I got sort of brought back down to earth with a thud rather quickly, and there's been a lot of like moments like that in my life where I've sort of I've been on the cusp of becoming total knob, and just pulled it back. So it's easy when you're surrounded by all these people, and actually you're getting away with murder, you know what I mean, you're drinking all the time, you're doing what you want, and it's difficult to not think you're sort of above it all. But like I say, luckily for me, I've got a good support structure, friends, family that I've had for years. They've seen the warning signs and brought us back down to earth.
Who's the biggest leveller? Is it Mum? Who is it?
Mum wouldn't let us get away with anything. She's always quick to call us up on any of my bullshit. But my sister, massively. Right. She's 23, 24, coming up soon. Always just worked hard, 9 to 5 jobs. Couldn't imagine anything worse than being on TV or having a picture taken or anything like that. Thinks the vast majority of the rest of the cast of Geordie Shore are deplorable human beings, and sort of always made sure she knew how, like, I knew how she felt about it, and kept us sort of just grounded, I think.
And what is your perspective on it now? Are there embarrassments that you wish you could edit out of that show? I probably wouldn't be talking to you today if you hadn't been in it, so it'd be churlish to discount it from your career. What's your perspective on it at this point?
For me, like, I always sort of remain steadfast in my opinion about Geordie Shore. It's that I'm very fortunate and very lucky to have been a part of it. It could give me an excellent platform to pursue things I really wanted to do. It's gave me the life I live now, which I love. But at the same time, it wasn't like doing it hasn't been without its awkward moments, or like I've had to make sacrifices, etc. There's been things I've done in that show that have been mortifying for my family to watch, or just embarrassing for me to have to sort of to relive.
Yeah.
Having sex on telly was a massive one for me, something I hugely regret. It wasn't something that I did often, but I think my mum, like as a parent, will say anything that's awful for her, and I wasn't a massive fan of it either. It felt very, very invasive. There's times I've got drunk and had arguments and said things that I shouldn't and done things that I shouldn't. I, of course, regret them. But I feel as though my mistakes have been immortalised, and people will I will forever be known for some of the things I've done. But, I mean, saying that, everyone, like, I went to uni, and I remember being at uni and doing silly things then, and I've still got the pictures from that. I look back on them now and laugh. I sort of think, like, wasn't that a good night, or, like, wistful sort of I think, and I'm hoping that in a couple of years I'll do the same with everything I did on Geordie Shor.
Yeah. Well, you've nothing to be embarrassed about. As we sit here, you've over 1.5 million Twitter followers and 1.4 million Instagram followers, 400,000 on Facebook. This is a sign of success in 2015, and as depressing it is for an old guy like me, the reality is that PRs, book companies, TV shows, that's what they want, that popularity. It's something I certainly will never have. And I look at how you've done it. I mean, you've created an empire, and I think more than anyone else on Geordie Shor, there might be people who are hot, there might be people with enormous penis, but it seems like you have got the brains and you've created a business, haven't you? An empire.
Yeah, I have worked very hard, even when I was on Geordie Shor, but especially since I left, to create sort of business ventures and things around me that will hopefully last the test of time. There's a lot of things that I can only do when I'm young, or relatively good looking, or current. But my main thought, my focus was parlaying everything I'm doing now into something that hopefully has a little bit of longevity to it. I'm striking while the iron's hot, and I realise that the Geordie Shor phenomenon, the Geordie, whatever it is that's happening now, won't last forever. But hopefully some of the things I'm investing my time in will.
I've got a feeling you're going to end up on mainstream TV, partly because you're beautiful, that's obvious, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, but because you're smart. I think for young women, and Katie Price is a bit like this, for all the BS around her, she's fundamentally a smart businesswoman. There are similarities. The empire that you seem to be building is sort of the same thing, that you've found this fan base and you're using it positively to create a business. That's smart.
Thank you. I mean, there have been people who've drawn comparisons to Katie Price over the last couple of months especially, and I do take it as a compliment. Say what you want about her. She's like a very shrewd woman with a great sense of sort of business acumen. She didn't have an awful lot when she started out. I mean, she came from sort of very humble modelling background, and look at her now.
Yeah.
She's certainly one of like the richest women in the UK, and people will argue she's done it with no like discernible talent. I mean, hats off to her.
Yeah.
She's a very clever woman in my opinion.
Let's talk about your beauty, because this always fascinates me, as I say, and I'm not doing jokes. I am an ugly guy and I know it. You've been blessed with looks and you seem to get more beautiful and more beautiful. You also seem to be getting slimmer and slimmer, and what bothers me about the Geordie Shor girls is there seems to be a competition at the moment for thinness. Just help me with this, because you're okay, are you? You're not on some sort of regime where you're fainting and all that stuff.
Oh God, no. It's funny you should mention it. I'm currently at a boot camp in Norfolk. I lost my weight through exercise and healthy eating, and I've kept it off the same way. There's no secret to it. You know what I mean? There really isn't. You have to burn more calories than you're putting into your body. You have to give your body the right stuff for it to be healthy, for it to function correctly. Otherwise, like, a body just won't lose weight and you won't be strong. I've never wanted to be skinny. My lifestyle is really hectic, and I often work really long hours. And if I was unhealthy or underweight, or sort of hadn't lost my weight through the correct means, I couldn't function. I couldn't do everything I do. So I'm a firm believer in sort of enjoying life and everything in moderation. And because I do like a gin and tonic on a Friday night, or I don't know, a takeaway on a Sunday, I have to train really, really hard. The majority of my weight loss is exercise.
I'm worried about Charlotte at the moment right now. I don't know what she's trying to do or what she's trying to achieve. She looks too thin, and I'm not sure mentally she's in a great place. Is she okay, seriously?
I haven't spoken to Charlotte in a long time. I think the last time I seen the majority of the Geordie Shore cast was sort of January at the NTAs. I think she lost her weight through the same process I did, with fitness DVD. So I know she has done it predominantly through exercise and eating right and everything. And it's safe, it's healthy. The woman who sort of is in control of that has done it for years. I know one of our trainers, he's brilliant. She'll be getting the best advice she can. She's always been a slim girl. She just ballooned because she sort of was living the Geordie Shore lifestyle to excess. She's got long legs and I think she's taller than me as well. All of these things attribute to giving her a sort of a very waif-like appearance when she does lose weight. I'm smaller and stronger. I think I'll always look sort of more muscly and toned, whereas Charlotte will look, it's thin, do you know what I mean? That is it. I can't imagine she's unhealthy. I know her family, and like I say, her mum's very similar to mine. She's very supportive, but she also wouldn't let Charlotte do anything stupid. Her dad's a great bloke as well. I don't think we'll have to worry about her. I really don't.
I tell you what I worry about, though, is the impact on other girls who don't have that budget for a trainer and to do it as well as maybe you are or she is. It sends out a message that being really thin is really hot. And it just worries me that some young girls will take that the wrong way and go about it the wrong way. Do you accept that that could be a worry?
I accept that, like, whether I wanted to be or not. I have had some sort of role model status thrust upon us. And I do take it seriously. You know what I mean? Like, I'm never going to change, and I'm never going to be perfect. And I'm never going to be someone who says, look up to me, this is how you should live your life. Unfortunately, some people are. I try, like I say, I eat right and I exercise regularly.
Yeah.
That is how I've lost my weight. I'm always promoting that on Twitter and Instagram, saying I've had a tough session with my trainer, I've done this, I've done that. Have I sort of said skip meals or try fatty diets? These things don't work, and I'm like a firm believer in that.
I guess there's two sets of fans on your social media. There's the guys who think you're hot and the girls who want to be you. They're really two fundamental backers of your career, aren't they?
I can imagine, yeah. Although there's not that many guys who want to date me on mine. I don't think. I think I scare a lot of men off.
Yeah, help me with that. Where's your love life at this point? Are you happy? Are you settled?
I'm happy. I'm very single. I mean, I broke up with my last serious boyfriend in October last year, and that was another sort of quite tempestuous relationship. And I needed a break. I needed a break from men in general. I focused on myself since then, and I found out that I get an awful lot more done and achieved when I'm sort of not living my life for a man. I'm a very strong person, very feisty and very independent, and I don't suit being in a relationship. I don't, especially because I tend to find I go for men who end up being quite needy, no matter how secure they insist they are in the early stages. They always end up driving us insane. So yeah, I'm single and happy and focusing on my career.
If I were to meet you on Tinder tonight, is there any hope that a guy like me could ever get with a girl like you?
I mean, I've got to be honest, I'm quite superficial, but I think that's just our generation. I do overlook things like sort of a perfect body or whatever for things like nice eyes. Like, I love nice eyes, and I love someone who can make us laugh. It's not very often I find someone who I can connect with, sort of who makes us laugh, who I find intelligent, who stimulates us, essentially.
Vicky Pattison, great to talk to you.
Lovely to speak to you, honey. Thank you.
The brand new book's out now. It's called All That Glitters.